If you were born under Pisces, you know what it feels like to carry the weight of emotions that others cannot see. You know what it means to feel everything so deeply that sometimes you wonder if the world was made for hearts like yours. And maybe that is exactly why you are here today, because something inside you is shifting, and you need to understand what is happening beneath the surface of your own life. Pisces carries a gift that few truly understand. You feel what others ignore. You sense what has not yet been spoken. You absorb the energy of rooms, of people, of moments that seem ordinary to everyone else but land heavily on you. And for a long time you may have believed this made you fragile. But what if I told you that this very sensitivity is the foundation of a transformation that is already beginning inside you, even if you cannot name it yet? This is not about sudden change. Pisces does not transform through dramatic external shifts. Your transformation happens in the quiet. It happens in the moments when you finally stop apologizing for feeling too much. It happens when you realize that the confusion you have carried for so long was not weakness, but your soul trying to guide you towards something truer. And right now, 12 internal processes are unfolding within you, slowly reshaping the direction of your life in ways you may not fully recognize until you look back months from now and realize how different you feel. The first process is the slow release of emotional debts you never owed. Pisces tends to carry the feelings of others as if they were your own. You absorb sadness, disappointment, fear, and frustration from people around you, and somewhere along the way you started believing you were responsible for fixing what was broken in them. But you are not. And deep inside, part of you is beginning to recognize this. You are starting to feel the difference between your pain and the pain you borrowed. This awareness does not arrive loudly. It arrives as a quiet discomfort when someone asks too much of you emotionally. It arrives as a hesitation before you say yes when you mean no. It arrives as a growing sense that you have been living in other people's emotional weather for far too long. This is the beginning of reclaiming your own emotional space, and it will change everything about how you move through relationships. The second process is the realization that your intuition has been speaking to you for years, and you have been translating it as anxiety. Pisces is one of the most intuitive signs, but because your intuition does not arrive with clear instructions, you often mistrust it. You feel something is off, but you cannot explain why, so you dismiss it. You sense a person is not being honest, but because you have no proof, you talk yourself out of it. You know a situation will not end well, but because you do not want to seem negative, you stay silent. And over time, this constant dismissal of your inner knowing creates a tension that feels like worry. But it is not worry. It is your soul trying to protect you. And now something is shifting. You are beginning to trust the whispers. You are starting to understand that just because you cannot explain something does not mean it is not true. This process will not make you paranoid. It will make you wiser. It will teach you to honor what you feel before you understand it, and that shift will guide you away from situations that were never meant for you. The third process is the quiet death of the version of you that needed to be useful to be loved. For so long, Pisces has equated love with service. You believed that if you were helpful enough, patient enough, understanding enough, people would value you. And maybe they did. But the love you received often felt conditional, as if it depended on what you could offer rather than who you were. And now, somewhere deep inside, you are beginning to ask yourself a question that changes everything. What would it feel like to be loved without needing to earn it? This question does not come with an immediate answer, but it plants a seed. It starts to shift the way you show up in relationships. You stop rushing to fix things. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop offering more than people are willing to receive. And in that space, something new begins to grow. A version of you that understands that your presence is the gift, not your service. This will not happen overnight, but it is already happening. And the people who cannot love you without needing something from you will slowly fall away. Before we continue, if you want to follow the next 90 days with more clarity within your sign's energy, there is a 90-day astrological map that goes deeper into exactly the movements we're talking about here. It highlights phases, possible turning points, and key areas to pay attention to throughout the period. You can get it through the link in the pinned comment. I'm sure it will bring a lot of clarity to your path. Then come back and tell me in the comments what you thought. Now let's continue. The fourth process is the recognition that your empathy is not meant to be given to everyone equally. Pisces feels deeply for others, and that is beautiful. But not everyone deserves access to that depth. Not everyone has earned the right to your emotional energy. And for years, you may have given yourself away too freely, believing that compassion meant saying yes to everyone, being available to everyone, holding space for everyone. But true compassion includes boundaries. It includes protecting your own heart, so that you can continue to care without collapsing under the weight of it. And right now, you are learning this. You are beginning to notice which relationships leave you feeling drained and which ones leave you feeling full. You are starting to see that some people take your kindness and never give anything back. You are realizing that you do not owe your softness to people who do not treat it with care. This is not about becoming cold. This is about becoming wise. And as you learn to direct your empathy intentionally, you will find that the relationships that remain become deeper, more honest, and far more nourishing. The fifth process is the slow untangling of your identity from the roles you have played. Pisces is a shapeshifter. You adapt to the needs of the people around you. You become what is needed in the moment, often without realizing you are doing it. And over time, this has made it difficult to know who you are when no one is asking anything of you. Who are you when you are not the caretaker, the listener, the supporter, the one who holds it all together? This question may feel uncomfortable, but it is essential. Because right now, you are being called to step out of the roles that have defined you and to discover what exists underneath. This does not mean abandoning the people you love. It means reclaiming the parts of yourself that got buried under obligation. It means remembering what you enjoyed before you became responsible for everyone else's peace. It means giving yourself permission to exist outside of usefulness. And as you do this, you will notice something surprising. The people who truly love you will not be upset by this shift. They will be curious. They will want to know the version of you that has been hidden. And the people who resist this change are the ones who needed you to stay small. Let them resist. You are not here to stay small anymore. If this message resonated with your sign, trust it. This is not a coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to this sign, it sends the right signal at the right time. And you are here because you needed to hear this today. Your support, whether as a subscriber or a member, is what keeps these messages alive. Messages created especially for people of this sign. And if this video connected with you, leave your birthday in the comments. Let's continue. The sixth process is the understanding that not every feeling requires action. Pisces feels everything, and because of that, you often believe that every emotion is a signal to do something. You feel sadness, so you think you need to fix it. You feel fear, so you think you need to avoid something. You feel uncertainty, so you think you need to make a decision immediately. But emotions are not always instructions. Sometimes they are just information. Sometimes they are just passing weather. And right now, you are learning to let feelings move through you without needing to respond to them instantly. This is one of the most transformative shifts a Pisces can make, because it allows you to stop reacting and start responding. It gives you space to feel without being controlled by what you feel. And as you practice this, you will notice that many of the emotions that once felt overwhelming begin to lose their grip on you. Not because you are ignoring them, but because you are allowing them to exist without letting them dictate your next move. The seventh process is the recognition that your creativity is not a hobby. It is a necessity. Pisces is a naturally creative soul, but for many of you, creativity has been pushed to the margins of your life. You told yourself you would get back to it when you had time, when things settled down, when life was less demanding. But creativity is not something you do when you have extra time. It is how you process life. It is how you make sense of the chaos. It is how you express what words cannot hold. And when you deny yourself this outlet, you start to feel disconnected from your own essence. Right now, something inside you is pulling you back toward the things that make you feel alive. You are feeling the urge to write, to paint, to play music, to create something with your hands. You may not have much time. You may not be good at it yet. But that does not matter. What matters is that you honor this pull. What matters is that you give yourself permission to create without needing it to be perfect or productive. Because when Pisces reconnects with creativity, everything else starts to fall into place. Your emotions become clearer. Your intuition becomes stronger. Your sense of purpose becomes more defined. Creativity is not an escape for you. It is a return to yourself. The eighth process is the slow dissolution of guilt that has kept you stuck. Pisces carries guilt in ways that other signs do not. You feel guilty for setting boundaries. You feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. You feel guilty for not being able to save someone. You feel guilty for feeling hurt when someone took advantage of your kindness. And this guilt has kept you locked in situations that were draining you, because leaving felt like betrayal. But guilt is not the same as responsibility. And right now, you are beginning to see the difference. You are starting to understand that you can care about someone and still choose to protect yourself. You can wish someone well and still walk away. You can recognize that someone is struggling and still refuse to drown trying to save them. This does not make you selfish. This makes you whole. And as you release the guilt that was never yours to carry, you will find that the weight you have been carrying for so long begins to lift. You will breathe deeper. You will sleep better. You will feel lighter in ways you forgot were possible. The ninth process is the realization that solitude is not the same as loneliness. Pisces craves connection, but not all connection is nourishing. Sometimes, you have stayed in relationships, friendships, or social circles simply because being alone felt too heavy. But lately, you are beginning to notice that certain kinds of company drain you more than solitude ever could. You are starting to feel the difference between being surrounded by people and being truly seen. And in that awareness, you are giving yourself permission to step back, to spend more time alone, to stop forcing connections that do not feel natural. This does not mean you are isolating. This means you are creating space for deeper, truer connections to enter. And in the meantime, you are learning to be enough for yourself. You are discovering that your own company is not something to escape, but something to enjoy. This shift will not happen all at once, but it is already beginning. And the more comfortable you become with your own presence, the less willing you will be to settle for relationships that do not truly honor you. The 10th process is the understanding that your sensitivity is not something to apologize for. For years, people may have told you that you feel too much, that you take things too personally, that you need to toughen up. And somewhere along the way, you started to believe them. You started to see your sensitivity as a flaw, something that needed to be hidden or controlled. But your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a superpower. It allows you to see what others miss. It allows you to connect in ways that others cannot. It allows you to create, to heal, to love with a depth that is rare and beautiful. And right now, you are beginning to reclaim this part of yourself. You are starting to see that the people who told you to feel less were often the ones who felt too little. They were uncomfortable with depth, so they tried to convince you that depth was a problem. But it is not. And as you stop apologizing for who you are, you will attract people who celebrate your sensitivity rather than diminish it. You will find spaces where your emotional intelligence is valued, not judged. And you will finally understand that the world needs more people like you, not fewer. The 11th process is the recognition that rest is not laziness. Pisces operates in cycles, and you need more rest than most people understand. You need time to retreat, to recharge, to simply exist without demands. But society does not reward rest. It rewards productivity. And for a long time, you may have forced yourself to keep going even when your body and soul were begging for pause. You may have felt guilty for needing more downtime than others. You may have pushed yourself to exhaustion trying to prove that you were not lazy. But you are not lazy. You are a deeply sensitive being who processes the world on a level that requires recovery. And right now, you are learning to honor this. You are beginning to see that rest is not something you earn after you have done enough. It is something you need in order to do anything well. And as you give yourself permission to rest without guilt, you will notice that your energy returns in deeper, more sustainable ways. You will stop burning out. You will stop feeling constantly depleted. You will find a rhythm that works for your soul, not for someone else's expectations. The 12th process is the quiet knowing that you are being guided, even when you cannot see the path. Pisces is a sign deeply connected to faith, but not the kind of faith that requires certainty. Your faith is built on trust. Trust that things will unfold as they are meant to. Trust that even when life feels unclear, you are being led somewhere meaningful. And right now, that trust is being tested. You may not know where you are going. You may not understand why certain things fell apart or why certain doors closed. But somewhere deep inside, you feel it. You feel that something is shifting. You feel that you are being prepared for something different, something truer. And even though you cannot see it yet, you are learning to trust the process. You are learning that not every answer arrives on your timeline. You are learning that sometimes the most important transformations happen in the silence, in the waiting, in the moments when you have no choice but to surrender and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. These 12 processes are not happening all at once, and they are not happening in a straight line. Some days you will feel the shift clearly. Other days you will wonder if anything is changing at all. But it is. Slowly, quietly, deeply, you are becoming someone new. Someone who trusts their intuition. Someone who honors their sensitivity. Someone who knows their worth without needing to prove it. And this transformation will not be loud, but it will be undeniable. If this resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a message created specifically for Pisces. Your support as a member helps keep these messages alive, and your presence here matters more than you know. Leave your birthday in the comments, and let's continue this journey together. And I want to leave you with one question, a question that only someone born under Pisces would feel in their bones. When was the last time you allowed yourself to feel without needing to fix, to trust without needing to understand, to rest without needing to earn it? Because the answer to that question might just be the key to everything that is unfolding for you right now.